Morning, people. Majo John Madden broadcasting right next to the Los Troncones section of the Sierra Madre Oriental Mountains. You cannot see them this morning because of the haze. I'm hoping that'll burn off today. It's a little before 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday the 10th. I had a really deep sleep. Really powerful rushes of spiritual energy this morning, which seem to be staying with me. It's my fourth full day out here at the mechanic shop. Our car dead in the water. Josue speculating that I'll have it on the road possibly by Wednesday, but maybe not until Friday. The dogs gave me a hero's welcome this morning when I got out of the van. Mouth, Lily, others that have no names yet. Bear the big one over there. And I got going. I had run out of water, so I went and got some water. Hard to do with the dogs all over me all the time. So I got them out here where they don't cling to me anymore, and they all turned into wonderful hunting dogs. This is Mouth, right here. I am Mouth. And I often make videos because life says push the button. Notice what you're thinking about. Get it down. So this morning, this is very rough terrain that I'm walking over, and it's all muddy today. Bear, I'm noticing an interesting thing about Bear as a hunting dog. When he catches a scent, he lets out little yelps that almost sound like he's in pain. It's something magic does that I only discovered recently. When he's hot, when he's chasing a rabbit, he sounds like he's in pain. Slight drizzle still. So, my first winter on the road. We had left Asheville, North Carolina at the end of March, right after Asheville shut down from the COVID. The first winter, I was looking hard to find an apartment. I had been thinking of going south for the winter, but that turned out not to be realistic. And I was looking for a place to get in and out of the cold. But had not found one yet. I made my last trip up to magical Roan Mountain, right on the border, because we had spent all those months roaming the mountains north of Asheville, of western North Carolina, the high mountains, Blue Ridge Chain, all the way into Tennessee. We had spent a lot of time up on Roan Mountain, where the North Carolina-Tennessee border runs right across the Bald. Appalachian Trail goes through there, and on the Tennessee side is the spectacular jewel of the Tennessee State Park System, Roan Mountain State Park, 300,000 acres. My favorite cop in the world, Officer Marciano Day. Tough, pistol-packing mama. Statistics show that those rangers are injured in the line of work more often than city police. It can be rough out there. Who knows who's taking shelter out in those mountains. But she was a wonderful, very smart, very humane, interesting person who we had run-ins about the law. The way we met each other was I was parked under a tree in the picnic area to get out of the sun in the little Suzuki SUV. And we had to have a conversation about why I parked there. I said, well, it just made sense to me. And she said, yeah, it's pretty much against the rules. And that's set the tone for lots of our conversations, with me arguing for personal freedom and self-expression. And her, she's a cop. Rules, law, how it's supposed to be. And we really respected each other, and she was really grateful to me for just dialoguing with her and never making her wrong, and same the other way. So our last trip up there was on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. Bakersville, all done up for Christmas. It was so gorgeous and sweet. Little tiny hamlet at the foot of Roan Mountain. Magic and I, it wasn't Magic, it was Pancho back then, drove up and parked in the, I guess it's a state, yeah, it was part of the state park, big parking lot at the foot of the bald. And on a rainy, drizzly day, made that walk up to the bald. It's a pretty easy walk, gorgeous trail. Some people do it in 20 minutes. I usually take an hour because I dote. I take photos, videos, and I've got a wonderful video somewhere back in my iCloud of the walk up to Roan Mountain, to the top of the bald and back. So gorgeous. I love this tree. This tree has a magical energy. Trees do in general. A whole story to be told about how I learned to ask a tree for permission to enter its energy field at a 10-day silent retreat. So we came back down off the mountain. It was a miserable walk. It was foggy and rainy, but felt really good to do it. And slept in that parking lot that night. And even for all the amazing spiritual changes I had been going through, my first many months, at that point, about 9 months in the mountains, I had never remembered a dream. But that night I did. I dreamed I went to hillbilly heaven, but my hillbilly heaven was Manhattan, and I was in the 1-year training program to become part of the cast of Saturday Night Live. That was my version of heaven. The next day on the 24th, we had a great visit with Marcianne. She gave me Christmas cookies. And she said, you better make a run for it. There's a rainstorm that's going to turn to ice this afternoon. You better get going. And I just barely made it down to Spruce Pine. Not sure, I can't, yeah, at that point, I don't even know why I was going to Spruce Pine. But we woke up, the rain followed us down there and turned to ice after we had parked in the Walmart parking lot in Spruce Pine, which is up on a hill, big hill, because there's mountains there. And woke up Christmas morning of 20 with about 4 hours of heat in my canister of propane and no money, and it was going down to 13 that night. And we were snowed in. We were the only ones in the parking lot, and we were iced in. I had to throw my shoulder really heavy against the door to get out of the car at all. It was, I guess, that day before, I guess it was on December 24 of 20, when the Lunatic Blues truck up outside of the AT&T switching station in Nashville and disrupted telecommunications for several states. 2 people had called me to say, let me help you get out of the cold. And the messages had not taken because of the disruption in the phone lines. But Robin, our friend in Spruce Pine, did catch up with me by phone later in the morning and said, let me get you a room in a hotel, because tonight it's going to be super cold, super cold, super cold. And she did. She got me a room for 2 nights in the Spruce Pine Inn, which turned out to be very enchanted for us. And then she turned it into a week. She got a good deal on a week, and we had a very special time there. And by the end of next day, Sister Mary Ellen Moore had come up with money. She was administering a COVID relief fund to put us into an apartment for 3 months was the deal. And so by the end of our week in the Spruce Pine Inn, we were at Becky's place. Now, I thought this video was going to be about Becky's place, but obviously it has not been. That's going to be the next one. I think I'll take a break and walk the dogs. Okay, thanks. Good morning.